call to order the open session of the Mountain View Southwest Union High School Board for Monday, August 14th, 2023. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, the first order of business would be to call the roll and let the record show that Esme, Sanjay, and I are present. Theta and Catherine will be absent tonight. And our two student board members, Sadie, welcome back.
Thank you.
Christopher, welcome to the gang. Looking forward to having you here. Okay. Next, I need to approve the agenda. There are a couple of things we have had to change. Both by staff under consolidated motion, items 14.3, 14.4, and 14.14 have been pulled by staff. The remainder of the consolidated motion is as presented.
I move that we approve the agenda as stated by Phil with the adjustments stated.
We're counting you on it. So it's been moved by Sanjay, seconded by Esmond, that we approve the agenda as modified. All in favor? Aye, motion carries 3-0. Oh, I'm sorry, student board members, I'm out of practice. How would you go?
I approve.
Thank you, Sadie. Christopher? I approve. Thank you. Again, board members, 3-0. Thank you. Okay, there was no action taken in closed session, so there is nothing to report. Board member report. Any board members have a report? Well, I have a brief report. I had a very nice email from Mr. Dave Campbell, president of our District Teachers Association, about the first day of school. And Mr. Campbell said that although there was much to be done and lots of confusion because of all the building that's going on all the last minute stuff, he said that the administrators at all of the schools did a fantastic job of running around, picking up the pieces and making sure everything works smoothly anyway. And he said to be sure to give a special call out to Dr. Glazer and Ms. Ranieri and is Suzanne here? Suzanne's not here, but oh, there you are. Hi. Thank you all. And please thank your assistant principals. They said that they did a lot of the work. So great. It's good to hear that. And that's the way we do it. So that's all I had to report. We'll go down to our student board members. David, why don't you kick it off?
All right.
I just got a lesson on how to use the microphone, so I better get it once. Right. All right. We are starting off the school year with a bang. Starting on July 31st, our leadership students were on campus planning orientation and back to school events for our school. Our freshman Jumpstart orientation ran smoothly with the help from the SEL leadership students. We had more than 60 Jumpstart mentors and 500 freshmen that we oriented to our new school. In addition to a full day of tours, presentations, and a lunch, we hosted an ice cream social on the first day of school. In addition to orientation, we hosted the back to school rally last Friday, where our new principal introduced herself. Thank you, Ms. Ranieri. Our fall sports season has begun with games beginning the week of the 28th. This Friday, we will host our back to school dance in the large gym. These themes will include fuzzy freshmen, sporty sophomores, 4th of July juniors, and surfing seniors. Tickets are on sale in the finance office, and ASB will be tabling this week until Friday. ASB projects to charter more than 150 clubs this year, and chartering forms will be released on Friday.
Okay, Christopher, your turn.
All right. So the first year of school at Mountain View High School kicked off smoothly, accentuated by our new building being finished after many years of construction. ASB did not host a rally today because of continued construction in the gym, but we will kick off with our back to school rally on August 28th. Spartan Start was a big success and helped our students feel prepared for the school year. The campus looks better than ever with an increased focus on school spirit seen by the countless posters throughout our school.
Any questions for Christopher? Okay. Move on. We are up to the superintendent's report.
Thank you.
Yeah, it says Christopher on there, but I didn't want to say it.
Okay, all right. Well, first of all, thank you to the Board of Education for all that you do to support our students over the summer. I know there were a lot of things that you were fielding and emails and a lot of conversations that were going on. So that behind the scenes support is very much appreciated. And I also wanted to point out the 3 associate superintendents here at the end of this table. We were here all summer for the most part, and as they helped prepare the schools and for return, and we'll have some more thanks in the presentation. So you can see here the Freestyle Academy, and it's such a gorgeous building right next door. And we're very excited about the construction that is near completion. And the Freestyle students are very excited about their new digs. I have to say they've really made something wonderful about every place that they've been, as is their nature. And so I'm looking forward to see some of the future happenings there. Wanted to, let's see, stop sharing, it says, okay. So as we're moving forward, we are continuing to maintain our focus of excellence, equity, and engagement. And that's been something that we've been talking a lot about as we've started the school year. And thank you to our site administrative teams for the work that they have done to really align that message. Now, our kickoff was wonderful, and you can see this picture. You can't feel how hot it was, however, that morning. It was very hot, and look at those good sports up there. Thank you to Mountain View High School for hosting and coordinating. It was a lot of work in addition to getting ready for back to school, but we had a great time. Our theme was growing and growth, and throughout, and we had succulents for our staff as they returned, and we talked about how, you know, certainly as educators we nurture much like a gardener does, and every plant needs something a little different to thrive. And so we'll continue that theme throughout the year. All right, moving forward, you can see some of the pictures. Look at this. Special thanks to our ASBs on both campuses for coming out before school started to welcome us. I think that the staff like that the best. I think, you know, second to our speeches, of course, they really did like seeing the students, and they felt very welcomed. I saw some that were going through the gauntlet more than once just to get that welcome experience, but we're very grateful to those who made signs, as you can see, and our teachers really love our students. So it was a great welcome back. So thank you. You can see here some of the art, some of the happenings, some of the happy faces. All right, and more about our first day, in visiting, you can see the learning started just from the moment everyone entered their campuses. So here, Alta Vista, we'll hear more from Principal Wolfolk tonight, but well prepared, ready to go. You can see their wellness area in the bottom right hand corner there, and it's just a lovely place to decompress and gather your thoughts. And our students were very engaged with not only community building activities, but really activities that help them share who they were and what they're bringing to the campus. All right, at Los Altos High, very similar, a lot going on. You can see within the classrooms and in some of the buildings that were new 2 years ago or last year. You can see there, I believe that's AP Physics in the upper left. And down below too, we had AP Head Start, I believe. I think I'm saying it wrong. Jump Start. Strong Start. Some really good starts, a great start. You know, we can't even confine it to one adjective. It was so wonderful. And so you can see here in the upper right, this is where teachers came in earlier and students came in to really let the new AP students feel more comfortable and have their questions answered prior to that first day where they go in and sit without necessarily having that support. So you can also see here, this is going to be the best year yet is under on that sign. And I just think that the students are looking older and older these days. In this photo, you can see, but we have Mr. Betancourt, who is getting his picture taken for his ID. So Los Altos, the start was wonderful. And then also you can see here at Mountain View High School, the students in the middle are preparing for their to help support the orientation. So that was a preschool day as well. Our students, including Christoph and Sadie, they were here weeks, days early, and even in the summer with the camp. So we've had students all over campus, and what dedication to come and give of your time that way. So thank you. And you can see here the fun that's going on. The new building here in the bottom right, this is the second story. It's gorgeous. And you can also see the science classrooms and then the archway and the welcome that we have here in the bottom left. And all of our principals have been so spirited. So we very much appreciate that excitement. It's fun and it's contagious. All right, and so then we also pre-service days, we had new teacher orientation where we welcomed new teachers as well as new psychologists and other positions that will be working to help mental health and teach inside the classroom. And special thanks to our instructional support team, IST, and in particular Tiffany Caro, who organized, but also Kim Rogers and Tim Farrell helped as well. So they had 2 full days where they had a onboarding, and during this time we all had a chance to meet our new team and to talk to them about what we value, and they were able to ask questions as well. So it was fun. It was their first day, much like our students had their first day last Wednesday. You can see it was a very active group. And our this morning we had our adult education kickoff, and it was a wonderful event planned by our adult education team. You can see here on the left, Julie Bowe, who was sharing the good news about the WASC accreditation and the accomplishments of the year. And we also had the mayor of Mountain View, Allison Hicks, who spoke here. You can see on the left here, and she spoke to our students about the job market and the importance of adult education for, you know, creating those jobs. She discussed how we, as a country, need to do a better job of job placement out of college or out of high school. And we all had an opportunity to talk about the adult education program. So after the speakers, they then went to do, you can see on the bottom here, they had their in-service where they had different professional development opportunities. So that was just this morning, and it was great, Julie, and thank you so much for hosting. Okay. Freestyle Academy mentioned earlier, but I think now that you see these pictures, you can see the energy and the vibrancy that the students bring. I will kind of point to Leo. He's usually a happy fellow, but I don't think I've seen him this happy as he is in this picture. The students are really loving their new digs, and you can see they have brought their each classroom has different character and really brings a new, they're all unique in their furniture setup and their configurations, and they do love those seating stones there in the middle. Freestyle. Okay, I sit on those sometimes too. I don't think they know who I am. I'm just sitting out there. It's the budget update. At the last meeting when we ended our year, I shared that the governor didn't really bring good news, especially with those pots of money that were targeted for our arts and music and learning recovery. And there was a big plan to chop them considerably. And so I did want to bring the new update to share that the arts and music grant, whoops, I think this is the old one. It was 1.4. This was the original slide, I believe. So it was 1.4, and I think that went down considerably to, gosh, I don't think it got on there. I probably didn't update it, but it dwindled to, I think, something like 300,000. So it went down quite a bit. 1.4 million would have been our cut, and it went down quite a bit. And my bias is that, you know, we're going to cut a lot of money, and then when we only cut a little bit, we say, thank you for only cutting a little bit. But the same was true with our learning recovery block grants. It was scheduled to, the next year was going to be cut $500,000, and that went down, I believe, also right under 300,000. So those cuts were changed across the state. So I'm sure there were a lot of conversations that led to that happening. And I do want to share some important dates. Our next Board of Trustees meetings will be August 28th and September 11th. Labor Day holiday, no school. I always put those holidays up there, but I'm never asked when they are. People are very aware of them. And then back to school nights are real fun. So we're going to have our back to school night for our 2 comprehensive campuses on August 24th at 6 p.m. And then we will have our back to school night for Alta Vista. That will be August 31st, and that will be from 5:30 to 6 to 7. Thank you, 6 to 7. And then Freestyle is also having theirs on August 31st, and I believe it is at 4 p.m. Oh, 6:30. Okay. Okay, so you can hit both. Okay, so Freestyle and Alta will be on August 31st, and then the others will both be on the 24th. And then finally, thank you once again to everyone who contributed to making this start of the year go so smoothly. Thanks to our technology person here, Bob Fistrom, who has been running around on the campuses. And then, and so we very much appreciate that work, you and your team, as we are so dependent on that juice, as you know. And then also thank you to Amy Vargas, who also helped with the opening, welcome back, and all of that planning that went into that, along with the personnel folks. So to that end, I wanted to point this out. I'm seeing more bikes, and I'm very pleased with that. And so we're seeing more and more bikes on both campuses, and we're going to continue to encourage the biking and riding, because we do know that we will have some traffic when Los Altos High School, or Los Altos K-8 starts up next week, because we do share certain roads. So to that end, that concludes my superintendent report. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Yeah, I think in addition to the relief for traffic from biking, there is also the physical fitness aspect, and just having routine things that get your heart pumping is a good idea. So let's encourage that all we can.
Yeah, just to add something to that, I'm in Green Team, which is the environmental club, and we had a big initiative in the past few years to make, #1, biking safety better, and then also partnering with people to get their bikes fixed for those exact reasons. Yeah, it's better for the climate, it's better for the traffic, and it's better for the health of their students, which we're really excited about.
Very exciting.
Okay, I don't think any of our teacher association or employee associations are here to speak on item 12 tonight.
No.
So we'll move into public requests to address the board on items not on the agenda. Is there anyone here who would like to address the board on that? Okay, good. So we shall move on to the consolidated motion.
And you may want,
And I would like to pull 14.2, the personnel report. Anybody else want to pull anything? Okay, in that case, may I have a motion for the rest of the consolidated?
Pass the rest of the consolidated motion.
Thank you. Moved by Esma, seconded by Sanjay, that we approve the consolidated motion as presented in the modified agenda with the exception of item 14.2, personnel. Christopher, how will you vote? I approve. Good. Sadie?
I approve.
Thank you very much. Board members indicate by raising your hand or saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0 with 2 absences. Okay, I pulled item 14.2 because one of our long-term teachers has now become an assistant principal. And we have to initiate it. So Derek Miyahara, congratulations and welcome.
I think I've already been initiated, actually, but I just want to thank the board for this opportunity to serve the district in a new way. And I look forward to continuing good things, working to do good things for our students in this district. So thank you.
thank you.
Derek was one of those hardworking assistant principals we talked about earlier. Okay. That's it, what I have, all I had for the consolidated motion. So anybody want to move approval of it?
I move that we approve 14.2.
Moved by Sanjay, seconded by Edna, that we approve item 14.2 with the consolidated motion. We'll start with you, Sandy.
I approve.
Thank you, Christopher. I approve. Thank you very much. Board members, please indicate by raising your hand or stating aye whether you approve. Motion carries 3-0 with 2 absences. That was a long list. Business and action items. Oh, this is one we look forward to at the start of every school year, the update on our summer school.
I would like to welcome to the podium Jennifer Lewis, who was our principal during summer school, and Suzanne Wolfolk, who was also an administrator over our alternative programs and summer school, and Julie. Oh, and Julie Bowe, who also she's speaking all day. Pardon?
Should be our guest speaker.
Oh, and a guest speaker, Julie Bowe, who held summer school at the adult ed campus for the online program. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Meyer. Is this close enough for, all right. All right, well, welcome back. We're reporting on the last items, I guess you'd say, of the 2022-23 school year. And I know, at least for me and Jen, we've talked, it seems like, when was summer school? But it was just weeks ago. So we'll go ahead and get started. Wonderful, thank you. All right, so today we want to present to you on 2 different pieces. So I think it's been very cleanly divided. We have a variety of summer school. We're going to be reporting on in-seat summer school, or what we often just call summer school, as well as a very vibrant online summer school program with Julie Bowe. Our objectives, and I know you may be very familiar with these, but just to make sure we understand that summer school objectives being one of our most important far-reaching alternative programs in the district are to help more of our students graduate on time. Absolutely. And that's where you see that we're spending significant resources helping students make up F grades for graduation. but also we're allowing more students to graduate CSU and UC eligible, right? So as we may know, C minuses and above are validated as passing grades for entering directly into a four-year university or college, while the D minus and above are sufficient for high school graduation. So summer school really bridges that gap of how to make those grades up when we don't do that type of remediation normally in our comprehensive schools. We also have that Jennifer will be highlighting with us too, is that for our students that have IEPs, extended school year services through special education, summer school is crucial, it's required to prevent the regression of skills learned during the year as part of students' IEPs. All right, we're really excited about our highlights, and so that's what I'd like to spend a few moments on here. Okay, so while Jen is a seasoned veteran, as is Julie Vo, this was my first year coming in for summer school. Even as a teacher, summer was not the time that I taught summer school or taught at all, and I took that time off. So there were some great things that counselors and our site administrators were eager to help us in changing and streamlining to support as many students as possible in the summer school program. One of the highlights we're really proud of was actually an idea that Dr. Meyer inspired, and it happened at our retreat in 2022 in August in a simple lunchtime conversation, having to do with this idea of when students don't realize what's coming in the future for them 1, 2, 3 years down the road, they might not opt in to something that we know at a young age they very well may want in 3 years, for example. So Dr. Meyer's idea was to opt out of summer school versus having to opt in. And what we mean by that is what was different about this year's summer school was that students, with the help of their guidance counselors and summer school administration, we identified all students from fall and spring semesters that had earned D's or F's or were predicted to earn D's or F's in courses and signed them up. That was a pretty significant change in how students are scheduled for summer school. In days of old, there'd been different processes of using informed K-12 or even triplicate forms in the past that students would have to take home, assuming there's a parent or guardian that is there to sign that form and that they have the initiative to bring it back, having picked the course themselves and the counselor then checking it. So what we really looked to do as a highlight this year was say that to start the ball rolling with the summer school is assigned to you, because this access to greater opportunity is something you may want in 2 to 3 years and not realize it right now to be eligible for CSU, UC, and other four-year universities. So in January, counselors received guidance from summer school administration on the courses that their students at the main site should be signed up for to make up D's or F's. From there, the counselors entered those requests directly into Aries, just as they would in a typical academic school year when we're scheduling. That eliminated the redundant forms, that eliminated any hand errors from informed K-12 to Excel and then into Aries, and it made the process immediately transparent. As soon as the student was signed up, the counselors could edit and go back and work with their students. So that was an important part. Other highlights, we actually rebooted an incoming 9th grade program for AVID students, and not only rebooted, but our AVID led by Joy, helped us make it a district-wide endeavor so that Los Altos and Mountain View High School student AVID students were joined together in a prep program that Jen will talk about. We also had prep for high school that became Mountain View and Los Altos High School students combined, and grew that program for our incoming 9th graders with IEPs, and then summer academy classes for incoming 9th that we'll talk more about. A huge endeavor with Terry Faut was that our elective course of the past, ELD intensive literature, began to be taught by English credentialed teachers and became English Summer Lit, which will allow our ELD students to have earned up to 10 credits of English in the middle of the summer, which no doubt helps them in their academic endeavors, but also toward graduation. And our summer grad numbers are going strong. Those are our students that this has been a pilot that Jennifer Lewis and Nick Betancourt took on and continued to grow this year and branched so that students that were close to graduation versus a direct referral to, which would be wonderful, to dual ed, was to have one more chance, summer school, to earn up to 10 credits or in a few cases 15, so that they could graduate in the academic year, thereby preventing a dropout for the school, as well as clearly getting them on their way to a fall quarter in a community college or whatever their future might be leading toward. And then lastly, for highlights, we had a push for letting students know that there are options out there. If Los Altos and Mountain View High School are working wonderfully for you, beautiful. But in some aspects that were in summer school suggest you may be interested in other alternative programs. And we spoke to every single summer school class so that every student heard it directly from us, options having to do with freestyle, middle college, college now, and Alta Vista High School. So that was a great switch up. All right, I'm going to step back for a moment so you can learn more about the data.
So as you can see for this school year, our open enrollment numbers were a lot higher than the previous school years, and that was mainly due because it was the opt-out method this year. So when we started summer school, we had 698 students enrolled for session 1 and 570 enrolled for session 2. However, our ending numbers ended up about the same as what they normally do. And so we think some of that's just due to, we still didn't tell students early enough. So our plan next year is to get the information out sooner. So hopefully we can keep the net enrollment pretty close to our opening enrollment. But we had a big push this year with the help of the counselors to get many more students enrolled this summer. And so then, as you can see, for our A to G, we had 51% of our students in session 1 complete A to G classes, 60% in session 2. For our special ed, we had 16% of our students complete a special ed class first session, 16% second session. And then for our summer academy / Avid, we had 16% of our student body in summer complete and 11% second session. And the dip for second session is Avid was only a session 1 class. So that's why the numbers aren't the same for summer academy and Avid. And then for our credit recovery, which is our seniors trying to graduate this summer, 2% of our student body for both session was trying to graduate this summer in our credit recovery senior class.
All right, we'll switch modes a bit to some of our online data.
So for MVLA Adult Schools Online Summer School this year, we enrolled 369 students, which is about 100 more than we enrolled last year at 288. And as you can see with the opt-in model with Alta Vista, you can see how it impacted MVLA Adult Schools online session. The vast majority enrolled in our health class. So you can see 157 in session 1 and 134. We just had a handful in the other subjects. The MVLA Adult School Online Summer School acts as a complement to the in-seat summer school, and we're able to take on the students who for some reason weren't able to take advantage of the in-seat summer school. We had relatively high completion rates at about 80 or more %. Do we have the breakdown of the grades as well? Yep. Yes. And you can see here the breakdown of the grades for session 1 and session 2. The vast majority of students were able to earn an A in both sessions. We had a very high completion rate. Very few drops this year, with 40 students rolling over to fall. That means that these students completed at least 70% of the course and will be referred over in the fall so that they will complete that health course.
I just wanted to clarify, for students to take the subjects aside from health, they had to get counselor approval so that that experience of learning something in seat in person with the teacher be maintained. And if an exception is needed, it's there. They're online for our other core subjects. Okay. We had a special thank you. So the summer grad program really is something that I think is special about summer school, about our district, that we invest in students, that they, yes, had their 8 semesters, but that we still have something more for them, that a few weeks could make all the difference in their lives. So Dr. Wharton, Mr. Rasmussen, Mr. Robledo, and Mr. Rodriguez, or Eric Rodriguez, our registrar at Mountain View, really helped to make it possible. And this year, while you saw how the numbers dipped 10 and 8, it reduces. We had our first summer grad on day 2. Yep. And so there were 14 students that would not have graduated at all in the as a class of 2023, and they would have been counted as high school dropouts for our data as well, had it not been for especially these individuals. But being able to offer a section that when you walk in, it may look as if there's only 5 students or 8 students there, but yet it was very impactful. And with Michael Rasmussen running multiple different classes at the same time, helping them and how they needed, and working with counselors and working with administration is really special experience. So we didn't have the data completely for Los Altos and Mountain View. I think that's still getting reconciled a bit. They have bigger numbers, but we can hand count the data out of this to high school that we already had. I'll say for continuation high school, when we started with an average of students, I believe had 100, seniors average for credits last year was 123. 125 to get to 220. We already had an 85% graduation rate, but this boosted us to 92% graduating on time. So we're really proud of the summer grad program, and thank you for the support that you give to offer this section. Here's some great pictures. We did have a lot of Mountain View graduates, and we were so happy that they joined us for our summer program in particular. And so Dr. Glazer has an accomplice, a helper that she keeps, and her helper, also known as her wonderful husband, brought her gear because you don't know when they're going to graduate on which day and so here we are with a few of our graduates from Alta Vista and from Mountain View.
So this summer we had our incoming freshmen in our AVID program. So for our summer academy, which is our incoming freshmen, it was slightly different than previous years. So previous year it was either math and English, and that's all they did during the summer. But this year we decided to also offer foreign language. We have many freshmen who come into Spanish 3 honors, and they've never taken an honors course or an AP course. So we decided that it'd be a great way to introduce an upper level foreign language course to them. And then for our students who have never had a foreign language course, it was a great way to introduce like a Spanish 1 course to these students so they could see what other courses look like besides just math and English. We also had, with the help of Terry Fott, San Francisco State came, and their business department came and taught a couple classes to our incoming freshmen so they could see how math is used in the business world. And the students loved that class. They did a class on like making cookies and how would you sell them to make the most money. If you were a warehouse selling furniture, and you had different prices for different pieces of furniture, is it more important to sell more chairs or desks, or is there a combination where you can make the most money? So the kids really enjoyed the San Francisco State students coming in and showing how they use math in their business classes. And then we also had an AVID class for 1 semester this summer. And so that class was mainly to introduce the students to the campus, talk to them about social emotional learning and how to help support them when they're in the school year and they're stressed from the classes they're taking. And then also just learn a little bit about how like an English class is taught when they hit high school. And a lot of our students really loved that class. We had a packed class in there, and we actually had more students try to sign up for it than we had seats for our summer AVID.
And we have some ideas for next year about how to combine the excitement of the AVID Bridge program and the idea of recruiting as early as January and opening it up to all of our incoming 9th graders, and then from there developing a summer academy that has different cohorts and feels very much the same way and the same goal and that excitement. So that'll be good.
And then we just want to give a special shout out and thanks to some of the people and staff that helped us this summer, especially the Mountain View staff who, even with all the construction, still helped us find classrooms, helped move us when the tar smell was getting to be too much for the kids or the constant drilling of the concrete. So thank you, Mountain View staff. for all you did. Thank you, counselors, for helping the students get signed up early, and our 2 registrars from both comprehensive sites.
I want to say a special thank you to our registrars, both Elena and Eric, because we were through the entire process without, most of the process, we were without a Aries technician. And so going through those things and getting assistance when needed. I also want to say a special thank you to Laura Padilla and Amy Vargas, Amy in particular, because we had so many questions and there's so many careful things about staffing and being really careful when we're over enrolling in this new opt-out strategy, but yet trying to predict how high to pack these numbers and not overstaff. So she gave us a lot of guidance and we promised to not bug you as much in future years. No, thank you. Is there any questions?
Oh, I'm sure there are. Sanjay, Esme, why don't you go?
Oh, okay, I can kick us off here. I'm wondering regarding the second objective around CSU UC eligibility. You spoke to this a little bit, but would love more specifics on how it happens with looking at students at their, I'm not so concerned about fall, but for spring semester, I imagine the turnaround is pretty quickly. And does that also impact sort of the numbers in terms of how early we can actually talk to students, to families? So you can just speak a little bit to what that process looks like.
Great question, and I'll probably jump in. So first session, you're right. What we're using is concrete. You had the D or F. And the only thing that would take you out of an assigned D makeup would be as if you earned a different core class and the counselor wants to switch. You need to repeat something else instead, or something happens in the spring that you could use that actually as a session 1 makeup. However, your point's a really good one. How do we know for session 2 what you need, especially when you're right on the border? What we saw was particularly inflated in math based on the at-risk of failing markers that we were using when we generated the data for counselors. So that's kind of the progress report, and then also looking at quarter 3 to see who remains in the classes or who gets signed up. And from the quarter 3 till the end of the year, we saw a lot of success happening where students earned C- or above and no longer needed the class. However, at the point they found that out is after counselors have now focused on not exclusively, but very seriously on the seniors and getting who's going to walk or not, or the out of contract and off campus. So going through by hand and transcripts to make sure they're signed up in the right class for session 2 was something that I don't yet have ideas on how to automate, but I'm sure there's some great suggestions that now we know a little bit more about it. What we did see was most definitely either the technique of some subjects to show, oops, you better start studying, but and the teachers perhaps really did know they might pass, who knows? It's a prediction and a guess. And then we did not overstaff based on those predictions. So it really worked out to use past year staffing to the most part.
I would say too, our algebra 2 tends to be the one that the students are the most worried about. So that's the one they tend to sign up for if they're worried they won't pass it. But that happens every year for us. And then we have to wait, I think it's like a week after school ends before grades have to be in. So we don't sometimes find out until a couple of days before second session starts that these kids are going to be dropping because they passed the class.
Got it. That makes sense. And seniors, I can see why number 1, but I would also say the juniors, it's like their last summer, right? Before
it is,
they can, make up stuff. And so my second question was, what did the opt-out approach look like this year? You mentioned starting earlier, but just curious what it looked like this year.
The opt-in had been either triplicate or an informed K-12 that the student has to kind of figure out and identify what course they got a D or F on, which means they have to know how to look up their transcript in these early stages, and then figure out also what that code is and that course name and pick on their own. And then hopefully, we all know this is an issue for access, students that do or don't have a parent that can sign that and then bring it back. That was the opt-in, and then the counselor would double check and then put them on an Excel list, and then it got transferred. The opt-out had to do with Jen and I doing queries for both sites, to give to counselors to say, here's the session 1 Fs. Here's the recommendations for Ds, kind of categorizing that for counselors, and then having the update for spring based on the 6-week progress report at that time. And then from there, the counselors put in requests directly into Aries, just as you would schedule in January for the following academic year. So then from that point, it could be even that early, it was seen by the families, should they wish. And then we started with pretty early postcards and notifications and parent square messages about you are signed up for summer school, save the dates. Because what we have really seen is that students that need to travel to see family members or for whatever other reasons, if they don't find out till April that they're signing up, then the plans are already made for the summer. So that was the opt-out. You're assigned, and we really do believe that with the counselor outreach and the expectations kind of changing over the years that, oh, if you get a D or a F in fall, you already know in January, the first 2 weeks is going to be your summer school of, the summer and so on, but that will grow.
The only thing I would add, it sounds, maybe you already said it, just like calls home would probably go a long way if they aren't already happening.
Yes, we did calls home, we did postcards, a notice went home on the students' letter that they get that says what their classes are for next year, if they had a summer school class, and they got those multiple times before summer school even started.
I think it coordinates really well when counselors are meeting with students through the spring in their academic planning. Not only are we planning for what you can take the following year, but making sure that we have all of the things we can do to be CSU UC eligible over the summer and noting it in the counselor's voice and the counselor's email personalizes it. And I think that will grow.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to work backwards for the presentation. So starting with Avid, so if we're incoming freshmen, so what's the number of incoming freshman Avid students we're going to have?
For both at the site?
Yeah, both sides, total.
We had about 42 students that wanted to take us up on the offer of the Avid Bridge program over the summer. Terry, do you know?
400 incoming freshmen Avid. We're going to have.
No.
Freshmen.
Both schools have 2 sections.
Yeah, so probably about 60, 100, 100-ish, 100, 120.
Okay, is that so? Any students that were basically wanted to be in and we did not. I mean, was there like a waiting list or?
So for the Avid Bridge program?
No, we're just for Avid.
Oh, okay.
They do interviews. According to the Avid criterion, there are certain parameters that the student needs to meet in order to be in the Avid profile. As an example, first generation attendee of a college, etc. I got to dig into the past interviews to learn if we turned down any students that were not eligible or what made them.
Oh yeah, if they're not eligible, fine, but if they were eligible, but we still said no, we didn't have space for them. Right?
No, we
So
have not done that.
We've not. So if they're eligible, they're automatically in. Got it.
Absolutely
Okay, so they
correct.
once they
Yes.
qualify, got it. Okay, and so for the bridge program, so is everyone that's coming in as a freshman is offered the bridge program?
I believe that is, so it was developing in April. Once Avid teachers as a district decided, yes, we want to offer this, and they offered it to their incoming 9th. Then it had to do with who was available. And from there, I believe we had 40 to 42 that were interested, and it ended up being a class of 36. And so those students we also had for summer academy, we had spaces for. So everyone had an offer that was available and interested in a summer program.
And for the adult school, so on the health class, did everyone who wanted to take health over summer, were they able to take it?
Yes, we even had a little bit of extra room this
We
time.
did have extra room, so
And
there was
the
never.
majority were coming from Los Altos High School this year.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Majority are from high school. Okay, but there wasn't a waiting list for everybody got it.
No wait list.
Got it. Okay, that's great. And in terms of the math, so you mentioned that they have to get approval. So what are the math subjects that are taught at the adult school? Do you know? I mean, at the online.
So for the online, For all the subjects that were not held for online, students just had to go through their counselors to seek approval
Okay.
on the informed K-12 application she used.
Okay.
Yeah.
But are all the courses, let's say for math, are they taught at our?
We only teach up through Algebra 2 for NC, so if a kid wants to take trig and make up that grade, they have to do it through online.
The online, so that goes through online.
Yeah.
And they would do it through the adult school online. They wouldn't do it at Deanne's or Foothill?
That would be separate data if it were
Yeah,
pre-approved
whichever
by
adult,
the
but they can do trig or something other at the adult school?
They
That's an
can.
option. They can. So we are getting over that.
But-
Yeah, I didn't know we offered that, so.
Yeah.
To clarify, if they take it at adult ed, then it'll replace their GPA. So if they failed trig and then they take it through adult ed, they get to replace the 0 with the
So
whatever
replace
their
it
new
like
grade
a-
is.
as
But
a
if they take it at a district, then they don't replace their previous grade's GPA.
And they can only take it at the adult school as a replacement for if they got like a
Or
program.
summer school, or retake the
Or
course
summer school.
entirety
It's
that
not-
school year.
It's not to basically take,
No.
not to take it, not to get.
For
it out.
remediation purposes only, not for
remediation.
advancement.
Got it. Okay, that's good to know. Okay. Got it. And, okay, so the other thing. So I guess I wanted to understand, so the numbers for the, on the summer school. So the net enrollment, you said it was 698 for session 1 and 570 for session 2. But the net enrollment was 519 and 2467.
So you can think of the number, for example, session 1, 698, essentially were all those students eligible,
Mhm.
that if we could be their guardians, we would say, this is what's best for you. Let's make time for it in the summer.
Yeah.
519 were those that
That
that showed up.
Yeah, and yeah, that's what I want to talk about. So I actually visited summer school during the summer, and I talked to Dr. Meyer about this. So, and I think I know it's a tough time to want to be in school, or to even be in school in summertime.
Us too.
I mean, it's not something I would want to do, right? But I commend those students for showing up. And so I don't know if there's something we can show as to basically indicate that this is the difference it made for them showing up. And being able to kind of somehow publicly acknowledge that in them. I don't know if there's something we could do. I would definitely be, opponent of doing something, and maybe it's something we can brainstorm or think about. If there's something we can do either through the school newspaper or just something, an announcement or something that we can do for those students, because I think it is amazing. One of the courses I visited was with students that basically English was a second language for them, right? So they're coming in to basically get better English. And to me, that's just amazing, because that is going to pay off for them as they get better at English, and go through high school to, when the courses they take. So especially those students that I really want to acknowledge and, promote, so we can do that. So if there's anything we can do, I definitely would like to hear about it. So this food for thought, I wanted to do that. Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? Something?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. So I just had a couple of requests. Going back to the sheet on summer graduates. You have a nice statistic there on the impact on Alta Vista's graduation rate, where you show that without credit recovery, the rate would have been 85%, and with it, it was 92%. So what I'd like to see is something similar for going from D- to C- or better for the students to become UC and CSU eligible. So if we have a statistic like that, if we could dig that up, I think that would be helpful. And also, don't limit the graduation rate just to Alta Vista. Let's see what it is district-wide.
I do believe that the larger sites are still reconciling their grads versus non-grads and data, but we also were very interested to see, although their numbers are larger, the percentage might not be so dramatic, but we're also
Well,
interested in
my
that
theory
data.
is every positive number
Yeah.
is a success story.
Absolutely.
So, getting back to what Sanjay said about celebrating this,
Mhm.
even if only 1% improve, that's 100%
course.
for every person who improves. It makes a difference. So I think we need to push that.
Okay. Maybe Terry can help us with that data. We don't have access. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. Great
And,
presentation.
and, and thank the teachers that came to the summer school.
Yeah.
Can't thank them enough.
They too would probably like to be somewhere.
Exactly. I know I would be. That's right. That's right.
Okay, let's move along here. We are now up to item 16.2. We have a public hearing on the collective bargaining agreement with CSEA. So I will temporarily adjourn the open session of the board meeting and open the public hearing. Public hearing is now open. Is there any member of the public who would like to comment on the proposed agreement with CSEA? Okay, seeing none, I will close the public hearing and back into the open session. We are up to 16.3, which is an action item. We are being asked to approve the tentative agreement with the California School Employees Association, CSEA. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the proposed agreement for CSEA.
Great, thank you. Seconded by Esme, moved by Sanjay, seconded by Esme, that we approve the proposed agreement with CSEA. Christopher, how would you propose we go?
I approve.
Good, thank you. Sadie?
I approve.
Thank you both. Board members, please indicate by raising your hand or saying aye whether you approve. The motion carries 3-0 with 2 absences. And finally, under our business action items, we have the Measure Bond Program Citizens Oversight Committee. We are being asked to appoint 2 new members to replace members who have moved out of the district. And at least one of those names is familiar to all of us. So any comments on that? Who's handling this? Ellie,
I can certainly speak to it. Yeah, we have a great Citizens Oversight Committee. 2 members did move out of the area, so that disqualifies them from serving, and it makes it hard for them to even attend meetings. So yes, we had 2 wonderful candidates that submitted their application, and it's our recommendation to appoint both Fiona and Archana, who are both active in our community, whether it be on the board or in the foundation, and just showing up at events. So I think they'd be great additions.
yeah, I'm sure they will be. Do I have a motion?
We approve the Measuring Bond Program Citizens Oversight Committee. Names here.
Second. Moved by Esme, seconded by Sanjay, that we approve the appointments suggested for the Oversight Committee. Fiona Walter, and how is the other name pronounced?
Urchina.
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 Okay, thank you, Sanjay. Okay, Sadie, how would you move?
I approve.
Good, thank you. Christopher?
I approve.
Thank you very much. Board members indicate all in favor. Aye, motion carries 3-0, 2 absences. Board operations, board suggestions for future board reports meetings. Anything up? We already have a long list from last year, so we probably have a carryover there. Communications correspondence, is there anything, Dr. Brown?
None at this time.
Good, thank you. And the date, time, and place of our next meeting, that will be in 2 weeks. So that is August 28th, Monday.
Okay.
And we will now move to, we're not going to resume closed session, it's not needed. And may I have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Moved by Sanjay, seconded by Esme, that we adjourn the meeting. Christopher?
I approve.
I approve.
Thank you both. All in favor? Aye, motion carries 3-0 with 2 absences.